This is the Third Place Podcast, recording from the JLP CPA sponsored studio. I'm Brian Dolan, and over yonder, Lauren Cuevas.
Hey, home is your first place, work is your second place, and this is your third place where the Christian community gathers.
And today with us is everyone's favorite, or at least some people's favorite. Ladies and gentlemen, he is president and founder of Edgewater Investment Group, David Szafranski.
Yay!
Hey. It's great to be here.
No one's ever sounded less enthused to be here.
Thanks for making me do this.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I have a very special catch-up to do before we get to our topics today related to like numbers and plops and fizzes and what is it, Dave? What do you talk about again? Stirs?
Plop, plop, fizz, or whatever you guys did.
Yeah, all those things. Those things.
So, very important moment in my life yesterday.
Let's hear it.
Relating to David Szafranski in some respects.
Oh.
My oldest daughter, Grace, has finished all of her training for the United States Army. She went through boot camp. She went through advanced infantry training. She went through airborne school, jumped out of a bunch of airplanes. And then she had her, what I believe they call in the biz, A-trap. Whenever I ask her what these things mean, she goes, I don't know. Like, what does it stand for? The acronym? No one knows. But it was like this 2-week break she had essentially with recruiters until she actually starts her military career. Last night, she started the drive with one of her friends to Fort Bragg in North Carolina to begin her career in the United States Army.
Woo!
That's fantastic. It really is.
Yay,
it's
Grace.
a big accomplishment.
And Dave, you were in the United States Army.
I was. I think people underestimate how hard, how difficult basic training is because they really want to separate people that are not. It's not that you're not a fit person, but it's just not your bent to be in the Army or the Marines or the Air Force, the Navy. The Navy and the Air Force have a fairly easy basic training in comparison to the Army and the Marines. But you do want to physically separate some people because they're just not going to be ready to do the things that you're going to ask them to do. So graduating from basic training and infantry school and airborne school is a huge accomplishment. It's a great thing to do. Now, she is guaranteed now to have bad knees and a bad back for the rest of her life.
Yeah,
so,
she
she
actually
probably
talked
doesn't
about
know that yet, but she will have a bad back from jumping out of airplanes with military parachutes.
Now,
So,
if I recall,
congratulations.
you drove a tank, but you did not do airborne school. So she
I
is
did not do
officially
airborne school.
tougher than you.
Oh, well, tanks, Brian. Tanks,
Maybe
Brian.
she might be.
Advanced infantry training. She spent 5 days in July in Georgia in the woods in a mock battle. We went with the kids to a scrimmage like football game for our local community, and Grace was trying to like tell us where to go, and she started using like hand signals you use in combat. Like, I don't know what you're doing, Dave. You probably learned them, but we were like, "What are you doing?" She goes, "Oh, it's just come over
Use
here."
your words.
So,
Yeah,
but also
you use the rally one a lot. Like, we're going to rally. We use this in my family. And we used to say of the infantry, the reason why they send the infantry in first is because they're totally expendable. We don't need them. So after you guys absorb all the bullets, we'll get in there and we'll do the real work. So,
you know the way she described it to me? She said, "Dad, we're in the infantry, and so really every other MOS or every other job in the Army is to help us, is to serve us, because we do the actual warfare. The rest of people are actually there to like fix things for us and hand us things."
Like body bags.
Oh, jeez, Dave. But it was. But I mean, for me also, and you've been through this, Dave. It's we officially launched our oldest child.
Yeah, it's kind of a coming of age for everybody involved in the process, because if you remember the first time you put a kid on a bus or dropped them off in a kindergarten or a school where you were going to leave,
Lauren just did that. Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, I just left a kid with strangers. I don't even know what's going to happen when I leave here. And it's a unique feeling, launching your kid off into the world to get, she's going to get pushed around a little bit by the world. The world does that. She's going to have to find her way. She's going to make mistakes. She's going to make good decisions too. And you're going to struggle through those with her. So it is a different kind of relationship that you're going to have from here on out. So hopefully it's a good one. And you guys navigate it well. And you don't tell her what to do too much until she asks.
Now, did you have a specific moment with your oldest son where you remember it was like, and he's an adult, goodbye? Or was it more gradual?
He had come home from college one year, and I came home from work. It was like 6:00, and he was getting out of bed. And I said, "Oh, did you take a nap?" He said, "No, I just woke up." And I said, "Okay, new rule. You have to have a job. If I'm coming home from work and you're just getting out of bed, we have a problem." And so that was the last summer he came home. And he never came home to live after that. And that was kind of the first summer he didn't come home. It was a little unique because we had to go to Chicago to visit him. He still lives in Chicago. And it was just kind of a changing of the guard. It was a new relationship where, and by the way, you're about to get a lot smarter. You don't know this yet, and nobody else would believe it about you, but your daughter is going to realize, oh my gosh, my parents were right about virtually everything.
That'll be a nice feeling.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
It is.
Especially when you have 4 others saying the opposite.
Yeah, no kidding. And, we had a funny moment yesterday where my daughter decided with her friend, who are both, trained killers, essentially, that instead of waiting until tomorrow to drive to Fort Bragg in North Carolina, they were just going to stay up and drive through the night. And so Sarah was standing there talking to one of her other mom friends at the high school football game. Well, it was like the most mom conversation you've ever heard. I don't know if that's safe, and it's very late. They'll be tired. And I was like, look at you two.
They're adults in the military. I think they're going to be okay.
I was like, and you two ladies, when you were her age, were probably like, let's stay up all night.
Yeah,
woo!
right. Yeah.
And they're like, well, I guess. But it was there was this mom moment. I was like, weird.
Lauren, they're not adults in the military. They're basically glorified adults in the military. When 18-year-olds in the military are some of the dumbest animals you will ever meet. So
she's actually talked about that, believe it or not.
There's some dummies.
Yeah, I would tell my guys, you sleeping in the wrong place in the military could get you killed because you don't know what the 18-year-old driving the M1 tank was doing last night, and if he's even awake, and he's not going to hear you scream as the tracks roll over you and kill you and squish you in the mud. So you got to really pay attention in the military because you don't know what other people, where they're coming from and what they're doing. We were on a demolition range one time and we were downrange. So we were standing next to the demolition, the dynamite, the C4, I don't even remember what, probably C4. And there was maybe 20 of us and there was probably 50 to 80 pounds of C4 in this thing that we were going to detonate. And then we walked back to the bunker where we were going to detonate it from. And a private had hooked up the blasting machine while we were downrange. Standing next to the demolitions. He said, I just wanted to get it ready.
Oh.
And I said, hey, here's something new that you're going to do.
You're
never coming to the demolition range again with us. So we made him go back to the barracks, and his job for the next 2 weeks was just to clean the barracks. We wouldn't even let him around.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, well, that was, you went easy on him. You can be discharged from the military for mistakes like that.
Oh, yeah.
You can be. Now, there was one time we had a guy that we were in our tank, and he was slightly problematic. So I just stopped the tank, and I said, hey, Kevin, grab all your stuff and get out. And he says, Sergeant, we're like 15 miles from anybody. I said, I know. I'm going to send somebody for you, but it's going to be a little bit, so take some water too. And he got out of our tank, and we drove away. And I sent somebody for him. And it took the whole day to get to him because of where we were at. But there are some times where people are just so unsafe. You have to say, get out of my tank. And that's what they'll do because not everybody has a gun when you're in the tank, but the tank commander always has a gun, always has a sidearm on them because you may have to ask somebody to do something at the end of a barrel that they don't want to do. Your own people. So
wow,
he got out of the tank.
Yeah, thankfully she's not in tanks after that story. But
Yeah.
she was giving me a hug before she left, and she was like, "Don't worry, Dad," because I was like not letting her go, and she's like, "Don't worry, Dad, I'll see you at Christmas." I go, "I don't think you know that." She goes, "No, I don't." She's just trying to get rid of me. She has no idea. So, but anyway, it's a big moment, and Lauren's on the other end of it. She's at the. Her and her husband just kind of were like, "We did it. We've got our first one into kindergarten.
We did it. We made it through the first 5 years.
Is honestly probably feels pretty close to the same what I just did.
Yeah, yours is emotionally draining. Mine was physically draining.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's kind
first
of
5
like
years is physically a lot.
he's somebody else's problem for most of the day.
Yeah.
It's a nice.
And then
He's
he
going to
comes
learn to
home.
wait in line. He's
Yep.
going to puke on other people for a change.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Did your boys share anything with you about their day when they were little kids after
No.
school?
No.
Maybe it's a boy thing.
No, I mean we can get one of our boys of our three to talk about it, but my favorite line from my son Theodore the other day.
I thought about this yesterday and I laughed to myself.
So he got home from like his second day of school. He's in 6th grade. I was like, "Hey, buddy, welcome back. How was school today?" "Good." What was the best part of your day?" "I don't
Lunch.
know." And then he's like, "Okay, what was the worst part of your day?" "I don't know." What did you have for lunch?" I was like, this is a
easy.
tap in. He goes, "It's too hard to explain." And then I just was like, I just laughed and
Tacos,
said,
chicken.
"Okay, well, see you, buddy. Have a great
Too
day."
hard to explain.
You know, your
Lunch.
kids, though, they're going to be the beneficiaries of the worst kind of school lunch in history, which is a healthy school lunch. They're not going to get
They're
the
not getting
rectangle
chocolate milk.
pizza.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
getting pizza burgers.
Oh,
They're
I
not
love
getting. I mean, I used when there was an open house or a parents' day at school, we would go through the line, and I remember the lunch lady saying, "We love your kid so much. He's so appreciative of the food that we have here. I love school lunches." I would go back to school if we could just reverse the clock and say, we're going to make school lunches as unhealthy as they always were. And I would probably go back to school. I would go to Parents' Day for you with your kids just to get
Just
the
to get a
rectangle
lunch.
pizza. Yeah.
Sarah's dad.
Cardboard pizza.
Did you have that as a kid?
What?
Like rectangle pizza? You probably didn't because you went to a private school.
Not for elementary school. I went to public school.
Do you
for
remember
elementary
the
school.
rectangle pizza?
No, I don't.
Oh, boy. Lauren's been deprived. It's not fair.
I don't really remember much about school lunches. I know that they existed and I had it.
But now, Sarah's dad for a season was sergeant in a police department, and he supervised the school resource officer at the local high school. And he would time his visits
For lunch?
for what was on the lunch menu because he wanted it was like turkey gravy and mashed potatoes
sure.
Oh,
or
my
something like
God.
that. And so he would time it and be like, "You guys doing good? All right, I'm going to go get some lunch." Isn't that
It's
great?
a way to do it.
So, all right. But Dave, you're not here just to talk and reminisce about those things. First of all, I'm sure it's nearby you, maybe a stack of them. Dave has a book. It's out.
Alert, Dave has a book.
David
I do. Hold on. I
Szafranski.
got to go run and get it. I didn't grab it. Hold on. Don't go anywhere.
Don't run.
You
At
can
your
get it.
age, it could be
Don't
dangerous.
hurt your knees. They're already
Right
hurt.
now. Don't go anywhere.
Wow.
Speak amongst yourselves.
You
Don't
say think amongst yourselves?
speak.
Oh. It could have been a stink amongst yourselves. I didn't even know what that meant.
It takes this. He doesn't have them even in his office.
He's probably got his staff doing chores, signing it for him, signing a big box of them. Sign
They
my
are
name on
doing
these
chores.
books after you vacuum.
Yay!
Oh, there it is. The
Yeah.
Sin of Retirement by David Szafranski. Is
Very
the
sick.
audiobook done yet, Dave? We were chatting about that.
The
other day.
audiobook is recorded, and
You did it.
they're
Great
doing-
job.
Yeah, they're doing some final edits to it.
Was it the worst trying to record it?
I didn't do it. We hired somebody
Oh,
to read it. Just
Better way to do it, David.
Yeah, and the guy's voice is really soothing. I thought, okay, because we talked to a couple people to do it, and so you hear some of their work and everything, and like, I don't know. And then I heard this guy's voice. I'm like, yeah, that's the voice. That's the voice I wish I was born with. So I'm gonna have him record it. Like I remember listening the first time I heard Paul Carter talk.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
he's got a
guy
nice
has
voice.
golden pipes.
Yeah,
Just
he does.
golden pipes. And so the audiobook is out. The ebook is out. There's merch on the website, sinofretirement.com. Merch like
You have
this.
berets?
Yeah, no, Brian, he's been talking about this for a year. Have you not been listening?
No. Are you selling like sport coats?
Brian.
I suck
Getting
at
upset.
investing. We have all of our
His
clients
hats.
drink out of these cups because that's why they're here. They suck at investing.
Yeah, that's right.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be here.
If you're listening to this episode, you need to go check it out on YouTube to see the merch.
You got to see the merch.
You'd have to look at Dave as part of that. Sorry about that, but
Sorry.
you can see the merch. So the sin of retirement, let's just say that you are at one of your fancy schmancy investor meetings and someone goes, "Hey, you wrote a book. What's that about?" And you give them the elevator speech about what your book's about. What is it, Dave?
Well, it's about it's about restating the way that we have looked at retirement in the last 20 years, where we have this goal of checking out. And you want to get enough money to just check out and do nothing. And I think that's a very dangerous thing to do. And as Christians, it's also not the right thing to do. We've been entrusted with all this time, talent, wisdom, and energy over the years, and we need to return that. And so checking out is the worst thing that you could do in retirement. So I want to encourage people to kind of repurpose themselves, pivot with purpose into retirement, instead of just sitting in the recliner and eating a Baker Square pie every day like we've had people do.
That was very specific. Are you thinking of a particular client?
I am. Yeah.
What kind of pie?
Baker Square.
I know.
Baker Square pie.
What flavor?
I don't remember what kind of pie, but they found him dead in that pie.
I didn't expect this to be the
No,
ending
they
of that
didn't,
story.
Dave.
Yes, they did. They found him dead in that pie. And
This took a
you
turn.
know, the thing, sorry to get so morbid on you, but it really is that important. We're made by the ultimate creator to create. We were early in Genesis, we were given the opportunity to work in the garden. It was not a punishment to work the garden. It was our purpose. And so work isn't really something. I know people have jobs that they look at as drudgery, and they do it because that's what they had to do to make ends meet. And I understand that. And, and there are some jobs where people are required to retire at a certain age, like airline pilots, commercial airline pilots at 65 are forced into retirement. And so it's not always everybody's choice to retire. But that doesn't change the fact that we're not supposed to just check out of life and go someplace. And I in the book, the introduction is about a couple walking along the beach, and they're
Sounds like
obviously
a
well
romance
kept. What's that?
Sounds like a romance novel, kind of.
It does. A romance with death is what it is. But
Here we go.
the guy's got flowing hair, which I already hate him because nobody should have that much hair in retirement. And the wife is well kept, and she's appropriately, they're not too old, but they're not too young, and they're throwing a ball to a dog that brings it back. So I already, I don't like them for that either, because
your dogs don't bring it back.
Yeah.
TJ and Max don't bring dogs back.
I've never had a dog that actually comes back with that ball.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They think it's a game for me to go chase them, and I'm not playing that game.
Our dog did.
So,
Lauren and I want to take a brief moment before we continue today's episode to thank our sponsors. First of all, did you know I have a brand new morning show? That's right. It's called Uplifted Mornings with Brian. And our sponsor is Uplifted Stream from KHCB Media Group. We're so grateful for their sponsorship and their attention to my new morning show. Check it out weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. Central, 7 to 9 Eastern. We have a lot of music, worship music. We've got scripture. I have devotional thoughts, try to share some funny stories, dad jokes, Bible quizzes, things like that. For more information how you can listen to my new morning show on the Uplifted Stream, just go to upliftedstream.org. That's upliftedstream.org, or just download the KHCB mobile app. We also want to thank our sponsor, JLP CPAs. If you're a small business owner, you already wear dozens of hats. You don't want to have to worry about things like taxes, payroll, financial reporting, budgets, balance sheets, all those kinds of things. Let our friends at JLP CPAs take care of that for you. They're a firm focused on small businesses. They're a local Northeast Ohio company. And you ought to check them out so that you can focus on what you're good at in your small business. For more information, go to jlpcpas.com. Again, jlpcpas.com. And finally, we'd like to thank our friend David Szafranski and Edgewater Investment Group for being a sponsor of today's episode. Have your finances been overwhelming? Are you stressed about your future? You should talk to Dave and his team at Edgewater Investment Group. They'll help you with things like budgeting, retirement, investing, and they'll be honest and straightforward. So you want more information about how you can get connected and get their help with your future financially? Go to edgewaterig.com. Again, that's edgewaterig.com. Thanks again to our sponsors, and now we'll keep going with today's episode.
But the idea is that they've made it.
Though.
These people have made it. They're not doing anything. They play golf, they play pinochle, they wine dinners and stuff like that. And my point is, they're in sin. They're not doing what God has called us to do, which is to continue to create and build into people. And that's really what the book is about. How do you do that? How do you look at retirement as not the ending, but a new chapter in your life, a new beginning to where you can create and build, and you don't need to be in, U.S. Army shape to do it. You don't need to go to Brazil to the middle of the Amazon like I do to do it. You could do it right here. And so one of the things that I love about short-term mission trips is they're short and you get to go and come back right away. I don't live in the Amazon, but I get to go there and experience it. But you don't have to do that. You could do a short-term missions trip right here in Ohio. But I think the idea is you can't stop. It's not a time to stop. It's a time to reload.
Yeah, you got to pull up those socks and put on your flip-flops and get out there and do it, right, Dave? Dave sent a picture of himself in the Amazon wearing
Socks and flip-flops.
basically socks up to his knees.
Shoebie.
And then flip-flops, jamming the sock between that little stick.
Were they compression socks?
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah, they probably were.
You're lucky I'm not in studio right now.
Are we? Yeah.
Might be putting you in a headlock, Warren.
Congratulations on the
I've worn
book.
compression socks, please.
I mean, when I flew to India a year or so ago,
Yeah, you take those puppies.
That's what they tell you to do. So I did that. I was in a plane more than I was in India, I think, on that trip.
I wore compression socks
I
like
got
every
you
single day.
upgraded on that flight, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. And it was so disorienting being that comfortable in a first class seat that I really didn't sleep. I don't mind. It was a wonderful experience. But
Yeah.
You spent most of your time on the plane.
yeah, whenever I have to look for plane tickets and it ends up being on where Dave has points, I'm always like, I wonder if
Dave. Hello, Dave.
But I don't ever reach
Hey,
out.
friend.
I'm waiting for
Just think
another
about
big
it,
ask.
yeah.
Now, special thanks for dedicating the book to Lauren and me. That was,
thanks so
was
much.
touching. I
I can't believe it.
didn't expect it.
Yeah, forget
The
Levon.
least I
whatever.
could do.
I know. And I mean, usually dedication pages are just a few sentences, but this was like 2 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Thank you,
shock.
Dave. Thank you. Now, if somebody
Hold
wants to
on.
buy the book, if somebody,
Wait, who did I dedicate it to?
I hope it was
I
you.
hope it's Levon.
Yeah, it is Levon.
Did you wax poetically when you dedicated it to her?
Well,
Or
it was
is it,
kind of a
this is
last-minute
dedicated
thing.
to the wife?
Where's my dinner?
Before we move on,
The
I do
ball
have
and
I have a
chain.
question. I have a question or statement. So most people, if they're like, oh, sin of retirement, but retirement isn't listed as a sin in the Bible.
That's right.
So what about the walking on the beach is sinful? Like what can we point to that it shows that, yeah, you are living in
Yeah.
sin by these actions?
Lauren Cuevas.
Well,
I have it in my mind.
walking on the beach is not a sin. And in fact, I just did a radio interview not too long ago about the book, and I did it from St. Croix. I was at a beach house right on the ocean, enjoying some leisure. So I don't believe that leisure is a sin at all. But when it's your only focus, when your focus is everything but taking the time, talent, and wisdom that is built into us over time and giving that back to returning that in some way, I think that it is possible to be living in sin because we're really avoiding our purpose, which is to glorify God. And how do we do that? In what way does perpetual leisure glorify God? And I don't think it does. In Mark chapter 28, we get the Great Commission to go out and make sure that the world has the word. Well, I don't think that's only why we're working. And so what I don't want people to do is I don't want them to look at retirement. And this is not just Christians. This is the world, or it's not just the world. It's also the Christian community where we work and we're looking at our 401ks and our IRAs and our savings and watching our house get paid down. And, you hit some age and your debts are magically gone because you paid them off over time, and that's good.
That happens. Huh? Wow.
It does happen. It does happen.
When
your kids leave, you're gonna be like, I don't know what to do with all this money. I've never had this much money in my life.
Well, I got a long time.
And then
till
your
they're
kids
all
come
gone.
back and they remind you of how expensive they were. But when you get to that point, and you've hit this age, and maybe you're going to collect Social Security, and then you realize, okay, I can't afford to move to Florida or Phoenix or wherever it is, or maybe you like cold weather, so you're going to move to the UP and just do what I want to do. And if it entails walking away from the mission, calling, and purpose that we have as believers, I believe we could be in sin. And so I don't want to get to that point. I think it doesn't have to be a 40-hour-a-week vocation, but I think we have to find ways to build back into people, because that's what we're called to do by the ultimate creator who built into us. So it's kind of a loop that keeps going. It never ends, Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I was going to say selfishness.
Right.
And sloth, if we want to put
Greed.
greed, actual sinful terms on it. Selfishness, sloth, greed.
I like it.
When I see people get involved in scams, and the reason why I came back to radio in the first place was because of a big scam that was going on around where I lived. When I got right down to it, it was about greed. Somebody was promising something financially that nobody else could do. And in fact, they couldn't do it because it was just a scam. But people wanted to believe it. They wanted to believe that there was a way to make this outstanding rate of return with no risk, and they could have all the money they've ever wanted. And I think as Oscar Wilde said, there's two great injustices in this world. One is not getting what you want. The second is getting it. And the second is much worse.
Whoa.
Dave,
that was awesome.
I do think that greed and slothfulness or laziness, that's sin. And if we're in that area, then we're definitely living in sin. Yeah.
Very good. Thanks, Dave. If somebody wants to buy the book, where do they get it?
Well, right now you get it at sinofretirement.com.
Better than Szafranski. Better than spelling that out.
Right. That's so true.
Sinofretirement.com.
And then I believe next week it'll be available on Amazon. So,
nice.
By the time this podcast comes out, it'll be on Amazon.
That's right.
Search for it, Sin of Retirement, David Szafranski. Just put in a bunch of consonants. Just kind of go on your keyboard. Just go, and it'll pop up. Okay,
just lay your face on your keyboard,
and then it'll pop in there. So, David, I have my notes here that you're going to say something that you've said to me for I don't know how long now.
At least 2 years.
We've been waiting for Lauren to get rid of her 17% mortgage. Or was it 700%, something like that?
7.125, thank you.
And you said...
I know the bank talks about her every Friday. I'm like, I can't believe she's still paying this note.
Yeah, they cheer for me when I come in, actually.
They're like, one of these days she'll pay principal.
There she is, yes!
So
thank you, Lord. Look at the cars we're driving because of you.
Now, David, you're saying interest rates are finally starting to come down? I don't know about that.
Well, they are going to come down.
They are going to.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, they're going to.
September will be a rate cut. It's the third week of September will be a rate cut. And a couple things have happened. One, a Fed governor left,
Right.
And she resigned and was replaced by a Trump appointee. Now, I know they talk about the independence of the Fed, and if Donald Trump appoints too many people, there's going to be no independence. Well, every appointee on the Fed Board of Governors is a political appointee. So there's never been true Fed independence. It's more like what I would call an arm's length distance. And it is true that presidents appoint the Fed governors, and then they're approved by the Senate. So it's the advised and consent by the Senate, appointed by the president, and they can be removed. Donald Trump is trying to remove a Fed governor right now. In fact, as we're recording, they're in court, and she is challenging the president's authority to remove her. And if he's successful in removing her, he will appoint somebody else. And I think you're going to get a much greater lowering of interest rates. I think the Fed is totally wrong on this, by the way. What we do in this industry is you look at whatever the Fed funds rate is, that's 5.5%, and you subtract the 10-year Treasury from it, that's about 4%. And so you have 1.5% of room to lower interest rates right now. And the jobs market, there's really two jobs that the Fed has. Number one is price stability. That means low inflation. Secondly is full employment. And that's it. They don't have a mandate for global warming. They don't have a mandate for DEI or ESG or anything else. Those are the two mandates that they have. Price stability, full employment. And the employment market is really struggling right now. We've had several weak employment numbers in a row. Now, I don't think we're going into a recession or anything like that. But it is something that we have to pay attention to because it takes a long time to turn these things around. And so September will be the first rate cut in a rate cut regime that's going to probably last 6 or 8 months. And I think we got to get the 30-year mortgage to less than 5%. I think 4.5 to 5 would be perfect.
Look at her. She doesn't
Yeah,
know
you're
easy.
right.
Yeah.
It would be
And
perfect.
that's when you're going to refi.
Yeah, I'm on my guy's list. He's got me. He's looking out for me.
You
What's
got a
your rule of
guy
thumb-
for your mortgage?
Yeah, my guy.
Okay.
Well, and Dave, what's your rule of thumb again for when you should refinance? How many points lower?
Well, if we're in a rate cut regime, I would wait till at least a full percent or more. And
Full percent or more. Okay.
yeah.
So once we hit 16%, Lauren.
Well,
Yeah.
mortgage rates have come down. They were at like 6.3 about a week ago. They kind of popped up a little bit, and I think you're going to start to see pricing ahead of the rate cut happen in September. So you're going to see rates closer to 6, and then before the next meeting they'll be closer to 5.75. So their rates are definitely coming down, and it's totally appropriate for them to come down. And if that wasn't true, if we had some inflation numbers this morning, and they're pretty good. One number was a little hotter because some tariff prices are kicking in. But I do think tariffs in general are a one-time price hike. They don't represent increasing prices over time. They represent a one-time price hike. And some of those are going to go away. For instance, we have a very high tariff on India right now because they're buying Russian oil. I think with a little diplomacy, India would stop buying Russian oil. I sincerely think that India thought they were doing the right thing to buy Russian oil because we wanted to keep oil prices low. And if you take Russian oil off the market, there is a chance that oil prices could go higher. We could fill in that gap with our own oil production and Saudi. So I don't think it's a problem. So I think a little diplomacy is going to go a long way, and you're going to see some of those prices come down.
Yeah, so you're talking about consumer goods because this is what I'm looking for. I'd like my groceries and my consumer goods to go down, Dave, a lot. Could you work on that?
Yes, I do. I am going to work on that. In fact, this administration is very concerned about oil prices. And, if you get the price of oil down, everything follows because everything gets to the grocery store by a truck, a train, a plane, something that's using oil, gas. And so if you get those prices lower, everything's going to follow. And I think that is going to happen.
All right. Well, David Szafranski, we love hanging out with you. Congratulations on your new book. It's very
Thank
exciting.
you.
In fact, just for you, Dave.
Yay!
Do you hear it?
Yeah, I do. You kind of ripped on me for a long time saying, oh, you didn't have a book. You didn't have a book.
Well, that was deserved.
No, we didn't say you didn't
in
have
your
a book.
face.
That was deserved.
You said like 16 years ago, hey, my book's coming out in
My
a few
book's
months.
coming out in a couple months.
And
It'll be
then-
out in a couple months.
And then like
Just a few
14 years
months.
later, you're like, oh, it's
I
not out.
believed you at first. I was like so cheering for you, but then it just kept getting pushed off. And now here we are.
I speak the truth. I speak only the truth.
I'm actually pretty excited about my Dave voice I just did. It's coming out. I thought that was pretty spot on.
Kermit the Frog.
It's pretty close.
No,
You were like, is that Dave or Brian? I don't even know.
In my nightmares, I'm forced to listen to myself talk for hours, and I
it's
sound like
horrible, isn't
Jason Aldean. Have you ever heard Jason Aldean talk?
He's a
No.
singer,
It
isn't
sounds like country music's version of Kermit the Frog. And I think,
he? It's a very
is that what
specific
I
nightmare.
sound like? Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna have to go listen now.
What a weird nightmare. You're afraid you're going to have to listen to yourself and you sound like someone else.
Yes, it scares me. Yeah.
All right. Well, David Szafranski, thanks for joining us today. Again, for those who want to find out more about your investment company, your finance company, whatever it does, I just lost the
my
word.
gosh.
Tell them where to find you, Dave.
Well, you can go to edgewaterig.com,
That's it.
edgewaterig.com, or you can just call us. That's the easiest thing to do, 440-934-2195. And we have a 1-800 number for people who are listening overseas. It won't work overseas, but if they're listening there is no long distance anymore. So, but 1-800-344-2534, you can call here. And one of the things that I made a commitment to many years ago when that scam was going on, Brian, is that you could call here and ask questions. You don't have to become a client. There's no fee to say, hey, is what I'm about to do wrong or right? And we'll answer those questions for you because I really want to help people make wise decisions. It doesn't have to be with us. You could keep your Fidelity account. Now, if you say, look, I'd like to come in once a week and have you review all of my trades at Fidelity, well, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
You have to open up an account here for that. But if you have a question, I'm more than willing, or somebody in the office is more than willing to talk to you about it and to help you make sure that you're not about to get scammed.
Very good.
That's the commitment we make to people.
Now, if someone were like, boy, I wish I could find out what happened before they released this episode. Like, was Dave on the phone with Brian
swear?
recording?
Yeah.
Because he couldn't figure out how to use the technology. Did
Yes.
Lauren and Brian have to like leave the session and come back in?
Yes.
You could see all that if you become
A Patreon member for $5. $5 a month to become a Patreon member. You get ad-free episodes as well as the cold opens, which is us just yapping around, having fun, talking to Dave.
Did I swear?
No.
no, good Dave. Good Dave.
If anyone was going to swear, it'd probably be me. So
And
I
you
was
can
in the Army. I mean,
Yeah.
they swear sometimes in the Army.
sometimes.
it happens.
Yes.
It's like I had a sailor coming home from basic training, I'll tell you that.
We had
that.
guys, we'd sit down and we'd say, listen, okay, you're a great guy. We love you. I'm sure you're a great killer. However, not every sentence contains the F word. Okay. You can
love
say,
that. It's so silly.
you could make a sentence and fit words together. That doesn't have to be one of the words. in
It's their
every
filler
sentence.
word.
My mom tells a classic story of my dad coming home from basic training when he was drafted in the 70s. And she was like, who are you? And when did you start talking like this? I think he fixed it. So also, you got to go check out our website.
Yeah, stainedglass-media.com, stainedglass-media.com. You can find our other podcasts and projects. You can become a sponsor. You could get your name right up here in the corner, become a sponsor. Or you can get help with your podcast, stainedglass-media.com.
Thanks again, Dave. It was fun hanging out with you.
Yeah, great. Great. Thank you, guys.
All right, that does it for today's episode of the Third Place Podcast.
Bye.